Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome here to China. We're in Hangzhou, which is, I think, turning into my favorite place in China. It's a beautiful city.
It is.
And with my friend Hendrik, who's German and drives a Tesla here in China, also quite an EV expert as well. So he's one of us. And I thought it was a great opportunity to try and meet for 30 minutes or something like that, go to a supercharger, see how this all works, talk about Tesla in China, how it compares to other brands, because this is the only market maybe in the world where Tesla has real competition.
Yes.
It's crazy. And we've just come out of experiencing Avatar, which is has the top Huawei driver assistance system, and it was mind-blowing, totally mind-blowing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about Tesla in China, how it works, how the mapping system works, how the cars are, same or different, show how, all this stuff happens. Just a very casual video, hanging out in a nice day in Hangzhou. Well, we've come over here to a supercharger, which is outside, which you were saying is unusual for superchargers here.
Yes, the majority is mostly in underground parking lots. They're building more outside, but as most parking is underground, you will mostly find them in the dark underground parking lot. Well, this is really nice to have it outside in the sun.
Yeah, one thing we noticed actually, if we can maybe even see down this way, there's a bank of 6 superchargers here, and that's actually unique, and we'll talk about it. But you'll see that Toyota BZ3 pulling out down there, which is that a good car?
No. But loved by DD drivers and by taxi drivers, because they have big rabates, 50% off.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it actually has it's a topic for another video, but I think it has a BYD Blade battery.
Might be,
Yeah,
not sure.
I think there was some collaboration. But there's a Li charging station down there, which is brand new. And so there's just a influx of EVs and charging coming to China.
Yes, especially over there is GUE, a Geely Baidu joint venture. And over there, the street, we have superchargers. So everything around here.
Every parking lot I've been to, and admittedly, I've been in urban places where we're going to see car stuff, but there's been DC charging in every parking lot.
Everywhere. In big cities, you have them everywhere. In smaller cities, they build charging hubs with like 50 DC chargers for people without home charging. It really grows incredibly fast.
It's absolutely insane. So one thing, actually, it's actually convenient this person's pulling it out right here. This is totally unique
Yes.
to supercharging here.
Yes.
And they do this in not just supercharging spots, but a bunch of parking lots have these, what do you call them?
Those are just, we call them ground locks. I actually don't know in Chinese.
Yeah.
It's basically, so those ones you can buy off the internet for yourself, because if you have a private parking spot, your neighbors love to use it for their visits. So this is an easy way to protect them. So you can buy them with manual release, you can buy them with a little remote control, or those ones where you have Bluetooth Low Energy signal, you have to send and it will lower.
And that's how this works.
Yes, exactly.
So we're going to show everyone what happens when you get to a supercharger, because it's different than the US.
Yes.
You have to manually select which stall you're going into, then this will lower.
Yeah.
Or if you drive a Cybertruck, you would just drive over this.
They are movable, and I have seen like Toyota Land Cruiser owners who just back up. So there's a spring inside, so you can push them down.
Okay, yeah, that's what I would do. I would just like park, say, I'm not going to deal with this. So actually, let's go in the system really quick.
Maybe first show, so when this first launched, you had to scan this code with WeChat, then you went into a mini app, and when you went into your car's navigation, there was a 4-digit code you can type in, and then your phone would send the signal to lower the...
That sounds annoying.
Then a little bit later, shortly before the superchargers got opened in Europe to other manufacturers, you could go to locations in the Tesla app, you could select a charger, and then you had the same graphics, but if you hit a stall, it would lower the ground locks. And since about 1.5 years, they put it into the navigation system.
Okay, but it took a long time.
It took a really long time, and this was really annoying because you need internet. So you're in an underground parking lot.
Yeah.
You scan the code, you run up to the exit, get signal, hit unlock, then the signal comes out, run back so the lock can receive it. Yes.
And so now it works when you select it in the car, it does the Bluetooth signal.
Yes. Just mine didn't receive the latest update. It was released this week. if I have like this update, it will actually pop up you at supercharger, which stall you want to use. I still have to manually select, open it.
We'll show that.
Yeah.
A question about this though. So this is an early Model S, and it doesn't use the GBT that has AC and DC as separate ports. It's combined.
It's NACS.
Oh, it's NACS.
This one, so the first Model S came with NACS.
Wow.
So you see here, this is a GBT to NACS adapter.
Oh, wow.
Then the Model X imported technically had NACS, but they put a second charge port here with GBT inside.
Just the single DC port.
And no, both. I think
both.
it's a double port.
So it had 3 ports on the car.
Yes.
Wow.
But I think this one never opened. Maybe it was even empty.
Yeah.
But you can see here, there's the adapter.
So, yeah, because I remember when they made the China official versions. So was this car imported?
Yes. So 3 and Y local, S and X always imported up to date.
But imported by Tesla.
By
This
Tesla,
isn't
yes.
like a gray market.
No.
Oh, okay.
There were some, but officially imported by Tesla for many years.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So, like, yeah, with Model S and X, I remember I was in the Fremont factory 10 years ago or 8 years ago or something, and they had a little cutout in the body in white, which is where the Chinese ports would go.
Yeah, this is the first Model X which came over had those cutouts, yes.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's right. Started with X. But I didn't know that these were NACS here.
Yes.
That's really interesting. So for level 2 charging, do you use a different adapter?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I'm not fully sure. No, you have to use different, of course.
Yeah, because it's a different port
It's
size.
a different port, of course.
Yeah.
There must be 2 adapters.
That's confusing.
Yeah. Early adapters.
So this is also, well, let's show this thing first. Let's get the car plugged in so we're not blocking a stall or whatever.
Okay.
But Alyssa, why don't you pop in here? I'll jump in the pack and we'll show how this all goes because this is super, super cool. Okay,
So in the newest version, it would be now a pop-up just saying you have arrived, which stall you want to use. So for me, we see supercharger and destination chargers.
which are iced at the moment.
Yeah, they're always. And one Tesla's booking them, which is really nice.
Exactly. They didn't even. Is it expensive to charge at the level 2?
Let's have a look.
They're 21 kilowatts.
I only pull 10 amps, so I don't know why it says this.
Yeah.
1.35 is actually okay for level 2. I would say it's normally between 1.2 and 1.5.
But it's interesting how it breaks up the difference between utility and service cost.
Utility is what Tesla pays for electricity.
They have to show this?
Yes, and service is everything else.
So I've never seen that ever before. So you can see what they're buying it for and how much they're marking it up.
They have to do this. Every charging provider needs to have 3 prices: utility, service, total. It's a law.
Okay.
And you can see the Tesla charging up. Normally this is like 0.1, 0.5, but you can see 0.51, a little bit for upkeeping. The rest is in the pocket, I guess.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah. So then let's show the supercharger. Does that show the same pricing?
No, 1.99.
Oh, wow.
So if you can see 1.23.
They're really marking it up.
Yes. So the Li Auto, I mean, I can have a look for the Li Auto, what they are paying at the moment.
Right, because that's right next door.
Yeah. So this is fixed rate charging, fixed rate.
I don't think you could ever do this in the US because we are so variable based off demand load on the grid that it's completely, you just sometimes have no idea what you're buying the electricity for on a per kilowatt hour rate.
So at the moment it would be 1.801 yuan, of which 0.48 is the service fee, which is 1.23.
So this is like 3 times the markup compared to the Li chargers next door.
Yes.
Is this common? Is Tesla usually expensive?
Yes, it's always more expensive. You see, during the night, it goes down to 1.031. So the electricity stays the same, but they're taking a smaller cut of it.
Right, so they're trying to, I guess, alleviate the demand load on the station.
Yes, that's normally what they are doing. It's quite common.
So then when you roll up to the station, we have to put down the barrier.
Lock. So you just go here, and then you see all stalls which are open, and I will help this guy and just click it, unlock, and now you can film it going down.
There we go.
And he's wondering,
why did that just happen automatically?
She's happy.
Yeah, there you go.
This is a legacy Model S, which has green plates, which is special, probably maybe second-hand.
Okay, yeah, because the original ones were before China did the green plate thing. And green plate is both for EVs and New energy, all new energy.
So let's go a bit back. So there is a term NEV, new energy vehicle, which is quite old. If you go to the south, you will maybe find an old taxi with a green plate, which is purely combustion, but liquid petrol gas, because this was also considered new energy for a short time.
Interesting.
So it evolved into hybrids, non-plugged in, then plug-in hybrids. And now we have seen it that the plug-in hybrid needs to be able to charge with at DC and needs to have a certain range on the highway. You can't just have your Volkswagen Passat with like a 5 kWh battery and saying you can drive a little bit electric.
Yeah.
Don't get a green plate anymore, but they won't take them away. So if you have a green plate and they decide your car isn't an NEV anymore, you keep the plate.
Oh, that's nice.
On this car.
Okay, so now we're going to see this lady has to use an adapter.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
interesting to see how she's using the adapters. Actually, it looks like maybe it's not so working. No, she's got it now. We're good. And the lights are in the taillight, which is pretty cool. So then this is the DC normal pin here, which is the
Yes.
version 3 supercharger. Do you have version 4s yet?
No, they're coming. They
Okay.
have been announced by Tesla to be open to everybody, but not yet, no.
And these are only for Tesla owners.
Yes. Wait, sorry. V3, only Tesla owners. A lot of V2s are open to everybody.
V2s, really?
If you can fit and your car like has the right charge port, because you have the bollards in between, you cannot really park in between.
Right, yeah,
And-
because you have to have it right at the corner.
Yeah.
basically.
And you see, you have everywhere you have those backstops.
Yes.
So if your charging port is a little bit more forward or backwards, you might not be able to
Okay.
reach it.
Same issue in the US we're
Yeah.
seeing as well. What's interesting is how this is laid out. But I've never plugged in a Tesla in China. Is it okay if I
Of course, plug it in.
your car? Okay, so I'm going to click the button. Does that do anything?
It should work.
okay.
Wait, it should.
It did. It did. Cool. So it's a latch release as well as the signal,
Yes.
which is cool. And then I guess it's the big one.
Yes.
And in we go. Super nice, super easy. Now,
It is.
your separated DC and AC ports.
Yes.
To me seems stupid, but you like it.
I love it.
Why do you like this?
So, I mean, you have two mechanisms to lock it. The first one is like CCS, I guess.
Yeah.
Where just a little pin locks the top latch. And the top latch, what is the main function? It breaks.
That is its main duty in life, is to break.
So GBT has a second latch, which is basically a pin inside which drops down
Yeah.
and secures. So even with a broken latch,
It can still charge.
it can still charge. But there was a problem with the third generation Model Y, which I have,
Yeah.
where dirt would get inside and would just get stuck.
Okay.
So when this happened, I mean, you could manually release it, but if you don't know it, you can just AC charge. So
Yeah.
if anything happens here, maybe a pin breaks off, you have a backup.
And then you got to go into service.
Yes.
If that was the issue, but here you have a backup.
Yes.
So and then we plugged in, we're charging, and this is the LG battery,
Unfortunately, the only one we have.
which is, we've had this big discussion in the U.S., especially with Model 3 Highland, around them offering the LG and the Panasonic battery.
Yeah.
I also love how they're power washing right when we're shooting the video, but that's okay. The mics will handle it just fine.
That's great.
So in China, you only get the bad battery.
You only get the LG for performance and long range, and a CATL LFP for the standard range.
What about the BYD Blade battery? Because the European Y gets that one,
No,
but that's the one to have.
but you don't get it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, CATL has a factory wide across Tesla Giga Shanghai, so maybe that's the reason.
Yeah, because they're already built in the supplier park or something.
But given the people who own the Teslas today and how they are used, I don't think they mind that much.
Okay.
I haven't heard so many complaints from Chinese owners about bad charging.
Yeah.
Because they have home charging. Then it doesn't matter which battery you
So I
have.
want to talk about that a little bit. So, Tesla in the U.S. By the way, I just wanted to also mention this was one of the very first Model Ys built at Giga Shanghai.
Yes.
This is like in the first batch of cars, which
Yes.
is cool that we get to see it. And then since then, they've done the refresh of this with the ambient lighting in the inside.
Recently, yes.
Yeah, and then now they have the new Model Y, which hopefully we're going to film before we leave. And if so, that video will already be live because it's going to be hopefully a big video for us. In the US, Tesla is owned by, I would say, almost two different groups of people. originally and up until maybe the last 2 years, it was the tech guys, the people who want the latest and greatest, the app connectivity, great driver assistance. It was really the leading technology. And then you have the other side of things, which is, okay, now it's becoming more like a normal car, where like my mom had a Model Y for a while and she's not really into cars. But here in China, it's sort of changed where all of the tech guys, the ones who are interested in the leading ADAS, they're driving other stuff now.
Of course.
So it's of course to you, but it's a shock to us. So can you walk us through like who are Tesla owners and what's happening with the brand?
So Tesla owners in China today are just people who want a car. Now, if you want a car in a big city, you want an EV mostly because it's cheaper, electricity, home charging is for most people available, and even if you use DC charging.
How does home charging work with apartments? You get a dedicated space and then they wire up a charger?
Most people, especially outside of Shanghai, they will have an apartment with with their own parking spot, and there are basically so many laws now which force the company running your own apartment to give you home charging. Mm-hmm. Like if you own a parking spot and they tell you no power, you can inquire with the grid operator and he has to answer within 2 weeks in written if there's enough power.
Yeah.
There's always enough power.
Okay.
Then I've seen it in my parking spot. I think every 2 weeks we get a new line for a new AC charger,
Wow.
7 kilowatts. So it's 32 amp, 220 volts.
Yeah.
It's standard and they are everywhere.
So having an electrician as a job here, never-ending work.
Never ending work, no.
Okay, so there's just huge infrastructure upgrades everywhere.
Everywhere, yes.
Okay, so back to Tesla as a brand. It's not seen as the technological leader in China.
Not anymore. It's not really those people who buy it, they're not that interested in tech. They are, like you said, like iPhone buyers.
Yeah.
They don't care about tri-folding phones. They want a phone.
Yeah, like I'm an iPhone guy because I'm not a technological expert. I just want to go. I want a good camera. I want to be able to call people. I just want it to work. And I know what I'm getting with this. And I think with Tesla, it's very reliable. Their design is okay. They're extremely safe. It's just a great car.
Yes.
It just may not be the best in whatever attribute they're looking at. And so that's how they end up with Tesla, I guess.
Yes. It's first, the company is stable. We have seen companies go out of business, HiFi, WM, and many more.
Yeah.
So people are a little bit afraid. What happens if the company doesn't exist anymore? One day.
If you buy a new car from a new, like Avatar, and the Avatar doesn't exist anymore, what happens?
I mean, Avatar is backed by CATL and Huawei.
They'll be fine, yeah.
Like HiFi was a startup, backed by venture capital, no big company behind. And now those owners, the app is running, they don't know how long.
A bit like Fisker.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Just that the cars are actually quite good.
Yeah, right. The hi-fi cars were pretty amazing. I played around with one at the Munich airport and was just blown away. It was amazing, yeah.
But with Tesla, they all know Tesla makes money. Giga Shanghai, all debt was paid before they had to pay it.
Yeah.
It's just Tesla will be around for the next 20 or 30 years. No worries.
So it's a safe car. You'll get service. If you have an accident, it'll get repaired.
Yeah. And service is great in China.
Okay. So,
Tesla service centers are a happy place to be.
Yeah. So what is that like? You know, in the U.S., it's very regional on the wait times for service.
Yeah.
But let's say you knock your mirror off. How long would it take to get fixed?
So here in Hangzhou, maybe today?
Wow.
If we are lucky and we find a spot today, if we are unlucky, we have to wait until Monday morning. It would be worst case scenario, Monday morning you get a slot.
So they're closed on Sundays?
No, they're open, but maybe they're already booked out because weekend spots are, people prefer them.
Right, because they're working during the week, I guess.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. I mean, it's really cool how Tesla has become so normal here. They're incredibly popular.
Yeah.
I mean, this is still, is it the best-selling electric car in China?
No, but then you are looking at a Wuling Mini EV for $5,000.
So it's like the best-selling normal electric.
BYD still outsells them, I think, but with several models. But as a single model, I think the Model Y is still outselling every full-size car.
And that was the old Model Y, like this one. The new one has just come.
Yes.
And so this, do you think, like, what's the reaction to the new Model Y with Chinese people?
The reactions are, nobody is extremely excited.
Yeah.
But everybody will buy it.
It's the same in the US. We're all like, oh, a light bar, okay, but wow, it's the best car, so we're just going to get it. Yeah.
I think many people are aware that this Foundation series is a little bit more expensive and they're probably waiting for some new deals.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I've heard that the 0% financing isn't available yet.
Oh,
but
okay.
the moment it is available, the floodgates will open.
How do people buy cars in China? Can you buy them? There's no dealership with Tesla. It's like the US, it's direct from the manufacturer.
The same, direct buying, yes.
And you can lease them?
Cash, what we did, or in China it means Alipay.
Oh, yeah, just
pay-
Alipay.
I didn't know it, but
scan it.
yeah, scan it. There is an additional like safety, answer some questions, but then most is financing. I think it's like 3 or 5 years.
Okay.
Down payment, I have to guess 20%.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
sure.
But
Probably
no,
normal.
it
Yeah.
was like 0% financing. It was a one-time offer which got extended for the last, I don't know, 12 months.
Yeah.
Every
wow.
time it runs out 2 days earlier, we
They get it more. Yeah, they do the
get it
same
more.
to us. Yeah. And then, but can you lease one here?
no, leasing exists, I think, but no, leasing
Not
isn't
yet.
really a thing in China.
Okay, interesting. You would think it would be because there's always new stuff coming.
It would be logical, but at the moment, just you buy a car and you lose all the money because every car, depreciation is.
So tell me about that. You paid big money for this because this
Yes.
was 2021, just like the rest of the world. Bought it kind of at the peak, right when I got my Model S. Got totally screwed on this one.
Absolutely.
So what's up with that? What's it like now?
So in China, insurance, you basically insure the value we bought it at. And then if you total it, you get this value. And every year they go down 10%.
Okay.
Now we are in the 4th year and we could still get a completely new Tesla Model Y standard range if we total it because the price just dropped so hard.
I mean, we can total it. It's not that hard.
I need it for a road trip on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so just like everywhere, the values are gone. But is there a second-hand car market in China?
Yes. There is a second-hand car market. I think the values are not really good. I haven't
Yeah.
looked at it because I don't want to see it. But
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
a second-hand car market, Tesla, and if you buy an Avatar, they will take off your Tesla from you for a price.
Oh, so you can trade it in.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
completely normal. Most trade
Okay.
in. First, it was like people trading their ICE cars and now it's generation. But if you buy it, sell it by yourself, you can mostly get a better price. What I have heard from other owners.
Yeah. It's so interesting to see like a car like this, and then it's just fully electric.
Yes.
This one might be a hybrid. I don't know. I think it's electric.
No, it's fully electric. It's just a really strange.
What is it? Oh, I have no idea.
Also don't know the brand.
Yeah,
It's-
no one knows. It's just
I
like
have
a
to say no.
random. It's
If-
like my Coda electric is just like this random shitty car, like this, and it's just fully electric. It
But-
says it's an ALS.
Aelos, yes. I have no idea. But it probably is like 6 months old and have 200,000 kilometers on the
Oh,
clock.
right, because they're just driven all the time.
It's
yeah.
DD drivers, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Forever.
do DD drivers use Tesla a lot?
No. So there was a really interesting post from somebody living, I think a young grown man. He interviews DD drivers and
Okay.
he found one with a Model Y.
Yeah.
And when he asked why, he literally said, I bought it because international known company, which means they won't go bankrupt, but I feel sorry for my passengers in the back because the ride is so bad.
So tell me about that. China is a very comfort-oriented car market.
Absolutely.
Everything we've been driving is like absolutely stupid fast in a straight line, but then just like you're going down the road on like a marshmallow and there's no sporting handling character,
Not
which is a good thing in the Chinese people's eyes. They want a comfortable, smooth ride. We all have made fun of Model Y for a long time for having a terrible ride quality for comfort. And this is an early one.
Yes.
And but they still sell well, so I don't understand.
Because, I mean, the early ones, we're speaking about the time where Neo was at NT01. Avatar didn't exist. When we bought it, we could have a BYD, a Xiaopeng, and a Neo, and a Zeekr.
Yeah.
The first Zeekr 001.
Right.
That was it. So, I mean, they updated the ride. So if you would have bought it with the Ryzen chip some months later, would have gotten a little bit more soft
yeah.
suspension.
But this one's really harsh.
It is harsh. It is stable. So I had some really high speed evasive maneuvers. It's a brick
Oh yeah.
It just handles so great.
Yeah, they do. They turn direction really well. It's quick steering. It's tuned for like a driving enthusiast, not a comfort enthusiast.
I mean, I have heard that basically my suspension now is like the performance suspension of the newer Model Ys.
Okay, interesting.
So, but of course, if you are on the elevated volt, you go straight.
Yeah, you're always just getting bumped.
You're waiting for the time where your spine comes out of your head.
But the new Model Y should be smoother because they're
Yes.
using the adaptive damp or the passively adaptive damper, like the Model 3.
I guess so. You can test it.
I've seen a few Model 3s driving around here as well, so they're pretty popular.
Before the Model Y, they sold a lot, but when the Model Y came, they went down. And with the new Model 3 Plus, it had really big problems. I'm calling it Model 3 Plus. This was the original name in China,
really?
but they removed the Plus recently, as I found out.
So the Model 3 Highland was called Model 3 Plus.
It was written Model 3 Plus on the back, but I've seen that newer ones are only Model 3 now.
Okay.
It didn't sell that well, but it's more and more people buying it.
Okay.
With the 0% financing.
Yeah, and it's a nice car and everything. Let's go inside if you don't mind. I'd like to see some of the mapping. So this is the only thing that I can see that's different, other than you get a battery symbol here next to the battery
And the little cord.
Yeah, the little cord. But other than that, I mean, everything else just looks normal, like, tire pressures and.
I mean, I get you don't have. Okay, before online service was called WeChat service.
Oh.
But
What does that do?
basically, they will open a chat with you on WeChat where you can exchange pictures. They will send you pictures, which is actually quite nice. So we one time had a charger frying our battery a bit.
Oh.
Nothing happened, but it put it into a limp mode. And basically over WeChat, we could send him all the pictures and they could then remotely look into the car and see if something is broken.
So we're in Hangzhou right now.
Yes.
If I just put this to north up, it'll be a bit easier for me to understand. There are a ton of superchargers around here.
Everywhere.
I mean, just absolutely, even though they're expensive, they really have built out this insane network.
They were the first one.
Yeah. So Tesla was like the first real.
Followed by NIO, yes.
Okay, so then you have Shanghai, which is, that's Ningbo.
Ningbo.
And that's Shanghai.
Give a second, you will not see Shanghai anymore.
Really, it's just going to be. Brrr.
It's Intel, that's why.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shanghai
it's like my Model 3. It's old school, yeah. That's crazy. So just look at the density of chargers here.
And if you see the pricing.
Wow. So what does this translate to per kilowatt hour? I have to do a quick calculation. So my guess is it's still cheap compared to America. So this is 2.19. Let's see. This is like, no, that can't be. That's Canadian dollars. This is what currency is that showing in yuan?
CNY, yes.
Yeah.
I can take my app. It's set to CNY.
CNY
2.19 would be
30 cents.
30 cents, yes.
Okay,
Euro
so
and dollar.
for us that is cheaper than most supercharging.
Yes.
But compared to other charging here, this is twice the price.
Yes. So Li Auto would be nearly half the price.
So they would be DC charging at 4C, so that's like 400 kilowatts.
Yes.
And they're 15 cents per kilowatt hour.
Yes.
So that's why electric cars are so popular here. They're cheaper to buy. Mm-hmm. Even Teslas are cheaper to buy here, right?
A lot cheaper, yes.
Yeah. And why?
I mean, they have Giga Shanghai.
Yeah.
Basically, they roll out of the factory into the customer hands.
Right. That's amazing. Yeah, because the labor's cheaper, construction's cheaper, everything's cheaper here.
That's a nice one.
Oh, nice pink Taycan.
Pink here.
Yeah, pink is a very popular color in China on cars.
Yeah.
And you don't see many Taycans around either
Not so much.
because they're expensive.
They're imported and you might have to wait a long time, and the interior, it's nice but not that big for the size of the
Right,
car.
and the screen's this big and it's more sports oriented than comfort oriented.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So even the most expensive supercharging is pretty cheap here.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, but are people price motivated when charging?
Normally, people are really price motivated, but there are so many using the Tesla supercharger network that they sometimes just want the convenience. Mm-hmm. And I think there are some owners who are not aware that they can use all the chargers.
Right, because you can go to NIO chargers, Li chargers.
Li are open, yes.
Yeah, State Grid.
State Grid. Telt, there are thousands and a lot of local companies.
What's
So
the worst charging network in China? Like, we've always made fun of Electrify America, and they've been getting better. But who's the Electrify America of China?
State Grid used to be,
Yeah.
but used to be because they have started to refurbish their whole network.
Okay.
And now, just you have a State Grid charger which wasn't good. You go there, oh, completely new. Plug in, 10 seconds, handshake, boom, charging.
Amazing. So they're really ramping up.
Everybody's ramping up really fast.
But this is also some of the problem with the first mover side. If you're first, your equipment's aging,
yeah,
things are not as well thought out, and then you have to redo everything,
Yes.
essentially, to keep up with the pace of the market.
yeah, same.
So, okay, let's pop outside because we're almost at 85%. Took a long time. Guys, this is Bella. So Bella also
Hi.
drives this Model Y.
Yeah.
So what's your impression of driving Tesla in China?
Some people after they say Tesla on the road, and they will say, this driver is not good driver because they think normally most Tesla drivers are driving super fast.
Oh,
but
really?
I don't really drive super fast, And also, we don't have the FSD in China. We only have EAP. So the only problem is EAP is not so good to use. So
And that's just the
yeah, to
like
the straight
enhanced
line, that is
autopilot.
okay, and you have to always be careful and take over the car. So sometimes comparing with this one, I prefer to drive by myself. Yeah.
Well, we just experienced the like equivalent to Tesla FSD in the US, the Huawei system here. We were in
yeah,
the Avatar.
yeah.
And Tesla has nothing like FSD in
Nothing.
China. It's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
And we don't really know why, other than there was this hold up for the data thing, right?
I think about the data thing because iPhone and they built one Chinese iCloud center in Guizhou. So after it, so Chinese people can use iCloud the same as other countries, except some special apps. But if Tesla and build one data center in China, I think this is not a problem anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So soon maybe FSD will come to China.
Yeah, and also the other thing is like, a lot of Chinese cars, they are using radar and LiDAR plus camera. But
Yeah.
Tesla, they only use cameras. And before all the people said only use camera is a little bit stupid. It's not super safe. But since this year, one super big news come to the world is like Xpeng.
Yeah, they're now going camera.
Yeah, they give up all the other things. They only use camera. So what should be better? I don't know now.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I hear from a lot of our Tesla drivers in the US how
Yeah.
vision only is cheaper to get the
Yeah.
the system is in many cars as possible. You don't have to deal with sensor fusion. But then when we were just in the Avatar, I mean, we're this far off of other cars,
Yeah.
and it's using that LiDAR to look at the exact distance.
Yeah.
And it was really impressive. It was really impressive. So I think we'll have to let the market decide what's the correct approach. But
Yeah.
without question, I think Tesla not having FSD is a real issue in the Chinese
Yeah.
market. A market that really cares for top technology, and the Teslas are not offering this. So they need to. If you're watching this, we need FSD in China.
It's like without FSD, Tesla is just a car. It doesn't have its own soul, But today, after we tried the Avatar, I got astonished by
Yeah.
that car. It's so good.
Totally. It's amazing. And so if you had to buy a car today, fresh start, you could go and buy anything. Which car would you buy in China?
I think as a girl, I want beautiful cars. For example, Xiaomi.
Yeah, the SU7's
The
amazing.
cheaper one Xiaomi or the expensive one like Porsche.
Yeah, Taycan's cool. Absolutely. Very cool. So we have the same taste in cars then. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining, and thanks again for letting us film your Y.
You're welcome. Yeah, and hope you could travel to Hangzhou the next time so
Yes.
we could gather and eat something together.
Absolutely. This is not the last time you guys will be on YouTube.
Yeah, I always thought we can eat some Chinese food today, and he thought that you guys are so busy.
Yeah, oh yeah, we are on a schedule. We got stuff to do, but also the food is a bit scary for me. Well, Hendrik, thank you so much for bringing the Model Y out here for us.
You're welcome.
This was a cool day. We got to experience the top ADAS system, which typically in my mind would be Tesla in America, and the other system was doing things that FSD could never do. I mean, maybe one day it could get there, but it's also just the style of driving here is so different. Like that happens, just normal. And you just get used to things flying at you,
Yes.
and there's no order. I mean, you're German, so it must have been a weird thing to get used to here.
I hated driving before. I got used to it. It's also it's improving. Like, I'm pretty sure give China 2 more years and the driving will be nearly in Germany, because people drive better and better, and more people don't drive anymore because they own avatars.
Yeah, exactly. They just use the Huawei systems. So I really think, for Tesla to really succeed in this market, let's just end off with these thoughts.
Yeah.
Charging needs to get cheaper.
I mean, you can use third-party chargers. So,
But if they want to
would
be
help.
the top, like in the US, Tesla is the top network.
Yeah,
In China, they're not viewed as the top network, right?
this will not work.
Yeah. Pulling a Neo up to the supercharger, not possible. But let's see what happens.
Yeah. Clearly this. I mean, the first thing is, who buys Tesla are not tech enthusiasts. And I have a lot of things, people don't trust those ADAS systems completely now. There's a really interesting thing many people say, why should I trust your system if I have to pay for the damage? And this goes from ADAS FSD down to emergency braking. I know people who turn off emergency braking because they say, if this slams on the brakes in the middle of an empty road and somebody rear-ends me and I'm blamed, who will pay for it?
Yeah. But this
This
is
is
such
why.
a crazy way of thinking, I think.
Yes, but this is why Tesla, I think FSD will be a big thing, but it will not be that gigantic of a thing as many think about. Because at the
Right.
moment it's still an amazing package for the normal people.
Yeah.
Tesla is trusted. There is this really strange thing in China about Tesla safety. In 2021, 2022, Tesla was shunned online for being a murder machine.
Yeah, because of the brake issue, right?
Brake issues, they would accelerate. No, first Tesla debunked and sued
it was all
everybody.
fake.
They debunked it,
Yeah.
they sued everybody, and people asked like, okay, so this guy had the accelerator pedal down to the floor for 2 kilometers, unfortunately killed some people,
Yeah.
crashed into a truck and walked away. And people asked like, what's going on with these Tesla accidents? There were accidents with Teslas flying through the air and people walked away.
Yeah.
And then there was this really funny hashtag, for the sake of your country, don't buy a Tesla. For the sake of the safety of your family and yourself, you should buy a Tesla.
Interesting. Yeah,
And-
because they're viewed as so safe.
And today, if you go into a random like mom and dad group, people who don't care about cars, somebody says, I want to buy a car for my child, and some random auntie will say, buy a Tesla, they're safe.
Wow. Okay.
Period.
Yeah, so that's like, it used to be like Volvos in America. Buy them
This
because
is
they're safe.
Volvo now in China a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
Volvo exists and also
Yeah.
is known for its extreme safety.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not the
sure.
only safe car.
Yeah.
Most cars are really safe.
We're
today.
also in Volvo City because Geely headquarters are right over there.
Yeah, over there.
Yeah, over here, yeah. So, yeah, I think from my perspective, I think Tesla just needs to adapt the cars better to China.
A little bit.
They
but
need to be more comfortable, better tech, better driver assistance, and then I think it will be, they can maintain their position. But the competition is crazy from all angles here.
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, the other cars, Neo, Xiaopeng, Xiaomi now, really,
Xiaomi.
the Xiaomi U7 is a direct Model Y competitor.
Yes.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this goes because the SU7 is kind of the new hot car. You see them around and they're pretty sweet. Yeah, so anyway, I guess time will tell what happens. It's not going to be our last trip to China. It's not the last time you guys will see Hendrik on the Out of Spec channel.
Happy to
This
help.
is, we're gonna get together as much as we can and talk about EVs here. So anyway, thank you so much for joining. This was
welcome.
great.
Thank you for having me.
And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below and maybe we'll answer them on the next China trip. We'll see you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.